I had the bizarre experience of going through it and looking back on it and not wishing it away. Even as I was deeply like in grief over it, I also saw how it had been a pretty pivotal period of my life, and it had awoken me to some truths about my life and being alive and what it means and what I value that I had been blind to before. And so in that way, I was actually really grateful for that year. And I wanted to write about that. I wanted to write about how these losses really gave me a new outlook on life and on the world. And so I decided to write a memoir. I had never written about anything especially traumatic happening to me, I would say. I had written about traumatic things happening to other people through fiction. And a lot of times that would be informed by experience I had or that I had been close to people who had. But that layer of fiction was a degree of self-protection that I think sort of took for granted. It was a way of accessing traumatic things in a way that I would not have described it as triggering in any way. It was essentially just getting to access like the feelings and talk about the feelings without having to go back to the truth of anything that had really occurred. So this was really different. And I confess I was pretty ignorant going into writing a memoir about this, like thinking, oh, this will just sort of be cathartic. I thought this will be cathartic. And I don't think that was a totally silly approach because it's true. I love writing and I had always found writing cathartic. And I've always been a journaler, and journaling has been such like a mental health necessity for me since I was a teenager. So I've always had a really healthy and helpful relationship with writing. But I had also never gone through anything this traumatic. That year was the most traumatic, the series of the most traumatic events that had happened to me in my life. So returning to them, I was not aware of just how intense it would be to return to them and write about them.